100 days, which is about 3 months and a bit. So 3 to 4 months, bull run happens again, and we're able to keep the show on the road. This is stronger for longer. I like that. Got a hawkish policy for longer. That's to be expected. And wow, just wow. All right, we'll go through these one by one. But first, welcome everybody to the Chart Addicts live trading streams. Obviously, it's a Sunday, so there's no live trading, but it's a Sunday market outlook. We're going to be looking at a few trades that I have lined up for the week. We're obviously going to go through the news events that we're expecting. And of course, it's another FOMC meeting prediction. I was just telling the squad right before we started the YouTube stream, because we have the VIP members here on Zoom, kind of having a chat before. They already predicted it. They've already kind of read my mind. And so if you guys have been watching these streams long enough, you know exactly what I'm about to say in terms of whether we're getting rate cuts or not. But I want to explain kind of the context about where the Fed is today, the problem they're dealing with, and then I'll give you guys the prediction for what to expect on Wednesday. And obviously, we're going to trade this live. We'll do a morning stream, probably around CPI, kind of do like a pre FOMC stream, cover CPI, and then we'll end up coming back at 2 for the funds rate and the projections. Then the press conference, we'll stream that live, kind of just look through what Jerome Powell says as a focus. So where we are today, we had a stream last week where I talked about the economic condition in the United States. So long story short, labor market is still strong. We're still sub 4% unemployment. So historically speaking, that's still relatively low. That's good. There has been a little bit of weakness in the banking sector, but based on what Janet Yellen has been saying in her testimonies to the Senate and the House, committees, the Treasury is willing to step in regardless of what happens with the banks. So if we have any more bank failures like we had with Silicon Valley Bank last year, then the Treasury is going to be the one that's equipped to step in. Now, usually, the FDIC, the Federal Depository Insurance Commission, the kind of institute or agency that's in charge of providing insurance for people's deposits, funny enough, they can only cover up to $100,000 per depositor. And if you look at the last 2 or 3 meetings that the FDIC's had, they talk about insolvency issues, that if there was a cascade of 5 or more small banks that crashed, the FDIC would not have the money to pay those people. And so what's going to end up happening is the Bank Term Funding Program, the BTFP that we talked about, which was sort of like a credit line that the government issued between the banks and the Treasury to basically pump liquidity in, as like a loan to keep them afloat long enough to survive the duration risk that they were holding, that they were experiencing from these bonds. They were holding a bunch of, let me summarize this in English for some of you people. This is kind of might have gone a bit too fast. These banks were holding a bunch of crap. It wasn't crap. It was bonds that had a different duration. And there was a long time until maturity. And so they're just basically sitting in drawdown on a bunch of trades. They're sitting in drawdown on all these investments that they bought. And they ended up having liquidity issues where people are trying to pull money or they were forced to sell at a loss. And normally you wouldn't take the loss. You would just wait until you're back in profits, wait until the maturity of those bonds, and then you would make your money and with the profits. But no, they were having liquidity issues, etc. So this bank term funding program is to inject liquidity just long enough to survive that duration risk or that liquidity crunch or the bank run, to avoid a bank run. And that facility is still open till today. Where are they getting the money from? Probably from the Fed. Okay. And if we really had a banking crisis that became systemic, then the Treasury is going to step in, either print money using the Fed, so they would issue bonds, Fed would print money, they would trade, or some kind of deal that they would end up pulling. But the banking system is going to be fine. So jobs is good, banking system is good, wages not keeping up with the real inflation rate, but it's keeping up with the government numbers. Savings rate is up. We talked about that as well. Defaults on credit, for the majority of the market, actually, it's not that bad. If you look at small pockets, like let's say there's defaults and delinquencies happening in the used car market, in credit cards, especially high risk credit cards, and then the buy now, pay later firms. We've talked about this before. Klarna and Affirm and some of those. So that's where most of the defaults are happening in the credit sector. But broadly, most people are in fixed rate um, debt. So if we're going to talk about mortgages, most people have a fixed rate mortgage. If we're going to talk about cars, most people have a fixed rate on their cars, and most other commercial loans, unless it was commercial real estate, was at a fixed rate. Commercial real estate is getting crushed. If you guys ever wanted to invest in multifamily residential or commercial real estate, you better have your fucking eyes. Oh, excuse my language. I'm sorry. I've been working on it. You better have your eyes fucking wide open. Okay? You got about a year and a half before BlackRock and their fucking cronies come and scoop up all the real estate. Okay? So I'm letting you guys know if you've ever had this idea of developing or getting in buying properties or syndicating or whatever else you've been planning on doing, multifamily and commercial real estate taking a massive hit. Obviously, once the interest rates come back down, prices will rebound. You got to think about it like a push and pull between interest rates and prices of stuff. Okay. Same with bonds. Like if the interest rates are really high right now, no one's going to buy a house. So what does the market have to do to incentivize buyers? They got to drop prices. They got to make it attractive enough to get people to pay that 7%, 8% mortgage rate. So you got to give me a good ass deal if you want me to go and borrow from the bank at 8% right now. Okay, you gave me the house for $200,000 under market. Awesome. Now I'll pay that 7% adjustable, and I'll just refinance as the interest rates come down. So eventually, what happens? I bought a house for half the price, and the interest rates are coming down, so I can refinance to a better rate. Now I have a low interest rate. I got in at a great price. When the interest rates come down, the housing prices go up because now everyone wants a house. There's all this demand chasing little supply. Prices go up. You guys understand the game here? So it's counterintuitive. Most people don't want to buy properties when there's extremely high interest rates. But if you understand the trade-off and you understand where the Fed is heading in terms of starting their rate cutting cycle later this year, okay, we're getting to the prediction part in case you guys haven't noticed, where the Fed is heading later this year in November to start cutting interest rates, eventually we will go down not to zero bound. We're not going back to 0% interest rates like the QE era. The party is over unless we hit a major recession, which I think all of us should pray never happens. Okay. And so we're still going to go down to like let's call it 2%, 2.5%, 3%. I think that's going to be a reasonable target for the Fed to keep interest rates in order to avoid inflation coming back. Okay. So that's the timeline we're working with. That's the rate cutting cycle we're kind of working with. I'm expecting the crypto bull run to be the big piece that sort of thrives and how do I say this, overperforms in this entire season. So starting in November, when that bull run really hits, I'm expecting crypto to be the best performer. Okay, here's my prediction. No rate cuts tomorrow, or sorry, no rate cuts on Wednesday for the FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell is going to hit the stage and basically reiterate the fact that inflation is still sitting and knocking at our door. And if we don't knock this thing out completely, and we do not end the inflation problem completely once and for all, it can come back like wildfire. It's like putting out the fire. If you leave one little ember somewhere, it could start the whole thing all over again. You gotta go through this all the way. And so higher for longer, he's going to reiterate that. But I think he's also going to start to signal the rate cuts coming later in the year. The biggest sort of red flag for tomorrow, because we always talk about the one or two things Jay Powell will be asked about that could really move markets. Typically, America is the leader in interest rate policy. The European Central Bank last week on June 6th front ran the Fed and lowered interest rates before we did, which but typically never happens. Canada did the same. So they're essentially forcing the Fed's hand and forcing the Fed to start cutting rates sooner than we would like. Now, because we're the world reserve currency, we can maintain high interest rates longer than anyone else. Okay. And they have to lower interest rates because their economy is crashing. They got to stimulate. We can print money if we need to, right? So we have a unique advantage here. And so the whole question is, will Jerome Powell give into the pressure that the European Central Bank and the Bank of Canada are putting? If the answer is yes, we're going to see rate cuts maybe as soon as the July meeting, maybe as soon as October. And so he will be asked about that in 5 different ways. It's going to be some young lady. She's not going to give a single fuck. She's going to ask what's on everybody's mind. And I'm going to sit there and clap it up tomorrow, just like I always do. And you guys know exactly that that's going to happen. And I'm looking forward to it. Sorry, not tomorrow. I keep thinking it's I'm excited, right? I'm thinking this thing is, I'm ready to trade this thing tomorrow. Right? What would you expect for gold after China suspends its gold purchases? I mean, well, if anyone suspends purchasing, if any sovereign country suspends the purchase of a major commodity, you got to assume it's going to be negative for the price. Because number one, if there's less money going into it, who's pumping it? And number two, if they're not buying it, what does that really signal about the gold market and why are they stopping their gold? So I don't know anything about this story. And so I'm going to have to look into it. I'll probably have an answer for you tomorrow once I do some research. All right. And Brian, if you want to give me some context to start looking into, I'll be happy to do that as well. Made it. What's up, bro? Chris Brown, what's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, drop a like on the stream. I think we're getting shadow banned or something's happening because the stream just hasn't been reaching that many people. Now I understand cursing might do that. We also stopped running ads on the streams. And when you don't monetize your videos, YouTube has no incentive to push it because all they care about is eyeballs for ad space. They want to trade human attention for ad space, and we're like, fuck them. And so they're like, oh, you don't want us to make money? All right. Boom, we're not going to push your videos or your streams. And I think that's whack. So if you guys could just drop a quick like, that'd be awesome. Greatly appreciated. All right. You guys are going to love this. Let's get right into this. Let's get right into this. I got to make this really quick, by the way, because this is supposed to be a pretty short stream here. Members, before I take this off, just take a quick look at this and then give me your answer ASAP. Because I got to remove this drawing ASAP before we just literally, give away the whole strategy. But what did y'all just see? And if it's the usual suspects, don't answer, please. Let's give somebody else a chance to step up here. What did y'all see? Because this is about to be the greatest gold trade of all time. Dennis, there you go. There you go. Roman, Ide, perfect as well. Those are both correct as well. Bobby got more specific. So all of y'all are right in all these different ways, and I love this shit. So those are the Roman and Ide and Dennis. You guys basically gave the technical analysis reason for taking this buy, and then Bobby gave the tactical sort of model that we're going to look for tomorrow to actually execute at that zone. And Walter, we got to wait for that first push up, which you already know. Look at this on a bigger picture as well. We're here on the 4 hour, correct? What do you guys see here? All right. Let me know what we see here before I fully explain this. I'm gonna have to explain this in a more simple way for the folks at home, but just I'm talking to the members on Zoom right now who know the strategy, just so they can, because this is clear as day for us. This is not like it really does not get any easier than this. Yup. But keep going, Ide. You're almost there. Well, I mean, Ide and Roman, you guys essentially said it. You guys basically said it. So just to sum that up, it's Model 3, Phase 3, right at the 886. Like if it literally doesn't get better than this. You guys understand? So we're buying the shit out of gold tomorrow. We'll put it that way. Go ahead and throw this support level right here. Get down to the 1 hour time frame. Don't even need that. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching at home, I'm not even going to explain the reason for this. I'm just going to give you guys this trade idea. Show up to the streams. We'll be looking at this and tracking this live. But 67. Damn. I have to trade gold mini for this one. It's a swing trade. Now, is the DXY back on its mission? Super secret magnet indicator. Can't beat it. Can't fight it. you might as well get on the right side. Magnet indicator 105.6 got cleared, came back. We're retesting the 103.7 area right now. Looks like prices formed a lot of support starting to come back up. You guys got to realize the DXY and gold have been back in that correlation of being counter correlate, meaning they're moving opposite of each other. So we have the DXY forming that support, starting to make its move back up to the 105.7 zone, while gold kind of looks like it's making this head and shoulders formation. Either way, there's still going to be a short-term buy here. And yeah, it really doesn't get any easier than this. Undefeated, undisputed, can't beat it, can't fight it. Just go ahead and tell a friend. Okay, that's all you can do. Can't find it, you can't hide it, you can't see it, you can't. It's John Cena. All right, we're gonna rename the indicator John Cena. Okay, because you're gonna try to look it up. You're online looking up chart addicts, magnet indicator, online, free, bootleg version, right? Because I know some of y'all fucking about to try to find that cheap version. Yeah, good luck. You understand? Magnet indicator got no L's like Mayweather, bro. You got fucking Khabib records, brother. Never lost a round. Undefeated, undisputed. You get me? It's the interim champion of Forex right now. All right, let's say we just clear up the charts and just do this NASDAQ from scratch. Let's go ahead to the daily time frame. Oh my God, I wonder what the trend is, right? Getting a series of higher highs and higher lows. Why is this box? That box is like atrociously. There we go. Got a nice little zone here. Beautiful break. Liquidity grab right through it and retest. Oh my God. All right, we're looking good. Why are these zones so big? I feel like I'm fucking marking up in Braille or some shit. I feel like this shit's coming off my screen. Is it just me? Like, bro, I can see. I'm not impaired. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know who. I never edited these zones. Okay. So beautiful bullish expansion. So obviously we had this area of support. Um, VIP members, we got a nice little duck goose action going on. I feel stupid saying that every time. We're gonna have to find a new thing for it. Can we find another thing besides duck goose? Cause don't get me wrong, it's the easiest way to teach it and probably the easiest way to understand it and the easiest way for me to remember it. But I just feel goofy every time that those words, you know what I'm saying? That those words are uttered, and I don't know. Members, give me some options here. If you're not feeling duck goose, what do we gotta do? What are we gonna name this thing? No suggestions? Oof. All right. Bounce, bounce, shoot. Oh, jab, hook. It, that was the inspiration I needed. Bounce, shoot is dope, but that's just too many. It's too many syllables, bro. Jab, hook just rolls off the tongue. Okay, so we got this nice liquidity zone sitting right below NASDAQ. Wouldn't it be beautiful if the market created support, got everybody thinking, launchpad, and then just swiped for that liquidity before we ran up and just hit a quick jab, hook before we continued bullish? I think so. So we have a news week. Keep in mind, look, I really don't want to give too much info here because I talk too much and I have a hard time like not giving away the entire course every time I get on here because that's what I do. And I'm just trying to get back. And it's tough, people put me in a tough spot. But I am going to leave you guys with something you can take to the bank. Whenever you're news trading or you're just looking at a fresh week and you already have this established kind of range, you have a low and you have a high, right? Especially when it's done this sort of like, this up and down action. Members, you know what I'm talking about. Use the highs and lows. All right. Create this little range here on the smaller time frames. And Just rule of thumb, right? Again, you're welcome. Thank me for this later. Just trade near the lows and highs. It's like the floor and the ceiling are lava. Everything else, don't trade because most people are trading in this zone, the average trading range. Okay, this whole area. Right? If you're ICT, they're just saying just buy anything under this line. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can't do that. Buy any crypto. Which one? Any of them. Can't do that. So now that we have the floor and the ceiling, members, I'm going to give you guys that extra cheat code, which is there's a zone on both sides for the buys and for the sells. And if you're too lazy to redraw your fib, go ahead and reverse it and you'll find your sell zone. Then go ahead and reverse it again and you'll find your buy zone. And not only do you have breakfast, but you also got lunch and now you have dinner. Cool? Put a one in the chat if this makes sense. If you're completely lost, get the masterclass, get your life right. Okay. The reason I said duck, duck, goose, by the way, is because we're going to have opportunities on both sides, but then eventually we might break through for liquidity. Everyone's going to be like, oh my God, it's bearish. Where's the market going to go? I have no idea. There's this whole area where there's no traffic. The market's going to keep crashing right through it. And nope, liquidity grab through the 886 and home sweet home. Okay. Is that less likely than continue to create support resistance? But because of the FOMC meeting, I'm expecting a Model 3. I'm expecting a lot of volatility and a big sharp move outside of ranges this week. It's going to cook up for the beginning of the week, and it's going to make a sharp move on Monday, Tuesday to get all you impatient gamblers out here that are listening to this to just basically give up your monies. And then right when you have no more money, when you've been margin called, when the account is blown, then Wednesday comes around and presents you every opportunity that you've been waiting for, and you ain't there to fucking grab it. Sad story? Good. Don't let it be you, goofy. Okay? You got a choice this week. Don't give up your chips. Don't dig yourself in a hole early in the week chasing these erratic moves. Wait for the news event. Don't trade the news event itself. Do not breach your accounts, breaking rules that are very obvious. And instead, wait for the dust to settle. Have a clear direction in mind before the news, and then just trade price action once the market retests key levels of interest. You're welcome. All right? Put something in the chats if you guys are I'm speaking fucking English. No, give back, Roy. Meals, but I just gave enough sauce for the whole fucking world, bro. You're good. This is enough. If y'all ain't get sauce from this, then uh God, no, I can't say that. I've really been trying to tone back the offensive jokes, because some of them are just for no reason. Like no one should be catching strays. No one should be catching strays like that. But drop something in the chats, everybody. If you at least took something away from this call. I emailed Chart Addicts to join the VIP group, but got no response. T! This is why I came down here to see the boys, fellas. We got the whole team cooking up. It's gonna get figured out, Josh. Don't worry. All right.
Yep.
Josh out here it's raining. It's raining outside. He's at the door. He's knocking on the door. Josh, we're gonna get you in here. I'm gonna get you fucking a fresh meal. We're gonna get you taken care of, man. All right. Meal's good to see you, brother. Hope you've been doing good. Bonnick says I see liquidity. Oh, nice. Fuck me. I'm looking at the road. I'm like, what do you guys see out there in the road? He's like, oh, I don't know. The cars. Oh my God. Thanks. Fuck. I want these. You know, the cat. I'm gonna make the Captain Obvious jokes. Okay, that's NASDAQ. Let's rip through real quick. And let me finish up with actually gold, giving you guys the final levels. I know we went through this trade pretty quick here, but the real level I'm watching here is 22.96. There's a very good chance that we play around below. There's probably a 40 to 50 point range below that zone. So that puts us at 290 to 296 area where the market could play around and then continue to shoot up. Ladies and gents, I'm going to tell you that by the next stream, the market will be sitting close to 23.61. Okay, that's a little bit arrogant. There's a high probability beyond a reasonable doubt, as long as the market respects this support level, then the next time we have a stream, the market will end up at 23.61 beyond a reasonable doubt with a high probability. Okay? You see why I just prefer to speak arrogant sometimes? Because when you're trying to be accurate and shit, it's like listening to those podcasts with a scientist, and he's like, based on technically speaking, peer-reviewed research, inevitably, and you're just sitting there dancing around every word to avoid actually standing on something. I'll stand on these predictions, but also we have to be realistic about how markets work, and I have to set a good example. by letting y'all know that there is no predicting markets. And I know I'm damn good at it. And sometimes you got like, but Roy, then what have we been doing the last 17 weeks if predicting is not what we want to call it? I don't know, right? Magic. Let's call it that instead. But I want to make it clear to everybody here that you should never come with a certainty mindset of this thing will happen. And when I do that, I'm just trolling, okay? Because truth is, we don't know what's going to happen next in markets. All right. And if you come from that perspective, you eliminate all the anxiety that most people have. They have an expectation that markets should do something. And when it doesn't, they get upset. Okay. So you want to eliminate being upset? Don't have expectations. Dude, I'm about to sell my computer and buy US 30, dude. I'm about to fund an account with this. That's just how excited I got. Let's just rip through these real quick. 38,690 entry. 38,530, 38,530 stop loss. And 39,200 TP. Case in point, Your Honor. I rest my case. I'm back from vacation this week. Let's get it. Jensen, that's why the markets have been so dry last week, wasn't it? That's why the market's been so slow, because you took a break, man. I'm glad you're back, man. Let's get these fucking markets moving again. We'll cover Bitcoin later this week, everybody. No need to do all that. Um, anything with the euros, Euro USD. Well, this is mostly due to dollar weakness, or sorry, excuse me, dollar strength. Well, I guess EJ is starting to slow down. So there is a little bit of a slowdown in the euros just across these two pairs, but specifically Euro USD, which is my preferred pair to trade if I'm going to trade currencies. Because I mostly look at the DXY anyways. I know what the dollar's doing. Dollar's going up, Euro USD is going down. I was expecting that 1.1 retest, but I think that was wishful thinking. A bit too deep of a correction for Euro USD. And now I'm looking at this thinking, have we already made a decent enough correction on the daily? And is this thing just ready to go? For the Euro USD, I'm using the 78.6 fib right here. That's that golden level, and I'll replace the 61 and 38 with the 50. Okay, so we've just broken through that kind of 50 line. That's basically that TP1 for this system. So you have a break back inside, a retest, and then a break back under. So at this point, the best that we can hope for is a 50% retest of this previous bearish impulse. Like you guys can see, first drop, okay, followed by about a 70% correction. That's the best case scenario. We already had the first false drop, fake up, come down. I'd say about 50% to 60%, and then we can drop again. So I'll be monitoring this pullback same way that we're monitoring gold. Monitoring this pullback as soon as we come up. I'll use my fib tool to find the entry on that candle. It'll be likely around 1.088. Okay, 1.088. Easy enough to remember. Okay? Still make 2% on vacay though. Brother, like, am I supposed to be surprised? Am I supposed to be shocked? And that's what's fucked up about when you get nice, Jensen, because people just stop giving you like credit and shit. They're like, yeah, I mean, of course you're winning, bro. It's like, nah, bro, like trading still takes that. You still gotta show up, man. But people just like to write it off. People are like, oh, of course they're winning. Of course of course it's easy. Now you can make it easy by doing the prep. You do the prep and it gets a a hell of a lot easier. Good to hear from you too, man. I got to get back in the group. I'm gonna reach out to the team. Jamil, you know we always have a spot for you, bro. Says bars being dropped. Rockstar Tony, you got a good ear. and you got good taste. If you guys have any questions, email us info@chartaddictsfx.com. Grab your tickets before July to the FX Summit 2024 conference. Link is in the description. It's the #1 conference in the world for traders. If you've never been to a trading conference in your life, this is the one you want to go to. Dubai is going to be the absolute pinnacle of what we have to offer. It's going to be the biggest exchanges in the world, the Oandas and the Forex.coms coming to speak. You got the biggest crypto exchanges from Binance to KuCoin to Kraken, Bybit, Crypto.com. The biggest institutions in the world are coming to speak at the FX Summit. If you've been to the summit before, you know that these names have already come and spoken, and we're just taking it to the next level by pairing them together on the same stage with the same panels. And the list is just getting crazier. We're literally just getting started. The next target is to kind of talk to the prop firms and see who's available. Maybe get FTMO and Top Step and a few folks to work together on stage and to talk about, since they're non-competitive, two different spaces. Anyways, grab your tickets before July. Don't miss out. June 14th is the next NASDAQ masterclass. If you're tired of losing, want to learn how to trade, and want to learn how to make money with a simple system using one pair, one strategy. We trade this live every morning. There's 255 streams where you can go and watch us use this system. Go ahead and check out that link in the description. This class is for you. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early. Happy and safe trading.